back. a little technology. You know, when we live, anything can happen. So that's just the way it is. Listen, I was just telling you that I need you to go and be a support system for our very own Ty Mopkins. He has a new series out called Southwest High. It is really good, guys, so far. We are in episode 4 or 5. So if you get a chance today, it is on Tubi. Go ahead and watch those episodes because every Monday, a new episode drop. And you want to be, you want to be on time. Now, I don't know if you like me. I'm watching every episode every Monday. But some shows, I let it build up and then I binge watch. That's okay too. If you are a binge watcher, that's okay too. But listen, you got about 4 or 5 episodes to binge watch before tomorrow. We will appreciate you, okay? Listen, we got some things going on over here at Detroit Table Talk. Yesterday, we were 3 weeks in for our professional speaking course with Keon Clifton, the 1% Better community. It's getting deep in there, okay? We are learning how to effectively communicate. I love it because we all need it. We all need it. I know I had an issue with doing filler words. Most of us won't say that, but I would be like, because sometimes I'll be processing what I'm saying because my brain moves faster than what I be talking. So we learning how to not do that. See, I just said again. So we're learning how to not do that. Then yesterday we had our first women's engagement luncheon. Myself and my partner, Alicia White Walker. I want you guys to support her. She has a whole cosmetic company called Vicky Mac. I need you guys to go over there and buy your lipstick, go over there and get your lip gloss. And Thursday, she had a book signing. Oh my God, we are on the move. Then yesterday we went and we collected some prom dresses. We are in need of prom dresses. Please and thank you. I know some of you have dresses in the back of your closet because if you're a young lady, most of us love to shop. So I know that you wore a dress once or twice and you done brought 5 or 6 more since then. Listen, be a blessing to our youth. I hear most of us that I see on my feed going down, I hear how much you guys love the youth. I hear how much you want to pour into the youth. I hear how much you're for our youth. So this is another avenue for you to be a blessing to our youth. Now, I'm the one to say it. I'm going to call you out. Put your money where your mouth is. This is prom season and these babies need our assistance. Every parent can afford a dress for, I don't know, now the dresses are like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Nobody's asking you to, contribute that. Now, listen, if you got the finances to do it, we got the students that need it, okay? All we're asking you to do is donate some dresses, some accessories. We need purses, we need shoes, we need earrings. Listen, some of these young ladies need you to be the person to say, you know what, I got her nails. Somebody else may say, I got, her pedicure. Somebody else may say, you know what, I can do hair. I would donate 2 or 3 hairstyles to, our seniors. Y'all know how much I love our young people. I'm picking students up every day on the way to work. I'm cooking. I'm taking lunch for the kids. Y'all know how much I love the kids. So if you close to me and you love me and this is where my heart is, I'm just asking you to help us. Now, I know our next drop-off date is not to April the 18th. You do not have to wait for April the 18th. You can contact me. I will come pick the dress up, or you can drop it off at Simply Roasted Coffee. That is 4240 2nd Avenue. The owner, Erin, has been such a support system for Detroit Table Talk. She is there to accept the dresses. She will keep them there safe until we are able to deliver the dresses the 20th. I think we're delivering the dresses on the 20th. We have one school on the east side and one school on the west side. We want to divide the dresses up evenly. So that comes from you. Now, now that we got all that done, I have an awesome guest here with me. This is prom season. This is, hey, them applications for scholarships should have been in. But if if you haven't sat down to really get your whole life together, we got somebody here that's going to take you through the process. I am elated to have her here. Meanwhile, I do have a scholarship up for Gamma Phi Delta Sorority Incorporated Theta Chapter. You can find that information on my page. Please put in your application so that we can be a blessing to you. Anything is better than nothing, okay? Last year I was able to be a blessing from our chapter to a young lady. She reached out to me a couple of months ago and told me how much of a blessing the scholarship money was. She came out of her first year debt free. She said she doesn't owe any loans. She was able to get everything that she needed, and she just wanted to let us know that she appreciated the scholarship money. And that's what we want for our young people. We don't want them to go to school and come out with a mount load of debt. The things that the children are afforded now, we wasn't taught that. So you have a lot of us, including myself, walking around with, some debt that we have to attend to. We don't want our young people to do that, so we want to set them up for success, not failure, especially in the economy that we have right now. So help me welcome Miss Latanja Muhammad to the podcast.
Thank you, Carmen, for having me on this show.
That was a lot.
Thank you. That was. You did it. You did it.
So, I want to thank Richard Heath because he's the one that recommended you to come over and talk to me. He know I love the kids. So thank you, Richard. I know that you're watching. Richard is one of my most dedicated listeners on Detroit Table Talk, him and his wife Monique. So I appreciate them so much, so much. Last week I was on his podcast for authors. So thank you, Richard. Thank you, Monique. I appreciate you. So Miss Latanja, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Okay, so thanks again for having me on the show. So I'm Latanja Muhammad. I am a native Detroiter. Graduated from Cass Technical High School, and I graduated from Tuskegee with a degree in mechanical engineering.
She's smart, y'all. Beautiful and smart.
Proud mom of two sons. My older son graduated from Howard University. He's living in New York now. And my younger son graduated from Harvard, and he got his master's from Columbia. Now he's in med school in St. Kitts.
Okay, then.
So, and I am the founder of College Cost Cutter.
Wow.
College Cost Cutter is a college planning service. So we help families with everything from building their college lists. There is a process to building a really good college list where the student can find their best fit college.
Okay.
So we help with, and we call that process college selection.
Okay.
So we do college selection. We give guidance on FAFSA planning.
Okay.
Most families see the FAFSA as when it's time to fill it out, you fill it out. But there is a way to plan strategically to fill out the FAFSA so that you can qualify for more financial aid eligibility. So we work with families on that. On the back end, we work with families on the award appeal process.
Okay.
And so you mentioned the seasons that we're in with prom and other things like that. When students start to get their award letters, they should treat those award letters as offers that are negotiable.
Okay.
And so we teach families how to negotiate for more money. Everybody can't get more money, and we can't guarantee more money. Mm-hmm. But those letters are negotiable offers.
Never knew that.
There are ways to negotiate.
Never knew that.
Effectively. Yes. Yes.
Wow, that's a lot to take away even right there, because when we talk about the process of filling out your FAFSA, which stands for free.
The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. FAFSA.
Okay. Listen, some of you have students. Some of you know parents that have high school students. I want you to take a pause and share the link to them because they need to get on here and get this information. We want our kids to be debt free when they come out of school. Don't just sit there and get all this information for yourself. You know how I used to say, or my pastor used to say too, you know, my four and no more. You get all the information for you, but you ain't helping nobody else. We
That's
need
true.
this information.
And you know, I got into this space for that very reason, because by the time my sons came along as seniors and I started learning some of these things, I realized I should have learned a lot sooner
Yeah.
than senior year. We wait too late to start planning for college. And even when I see teachers and counselors and principals out and about that I know, they'll say, oh, come in and talk to my seniors. And I say, oh, I'll be glad to come in and talk to your seniors, but I'll be even happier to come in and talk to your freshmen as soon
Yes.
as they start in the fall,
Yes.
and their parents. So
I think that's a great idea because a lot of, especially coming from middle school to high school, that's freedom. You don't have a teacher walking you from class to class. You don't have a teacher saying, hey, you know, like I do 50 million times out a week. Where's that assignment? Oh, Miss Evans, I'm gonna turn it in tomorrow. 3 weeks later, that assignment's still not turned in. When you go to high school, they need to know off the bat. That's how you build in your GPA. That's how you're
That's
gonna
right.
get selected for, you know, certain schools and the scholarship money that'll be afforded to you.
that's right. You're absolutely right, because that freshman year for some students, that middle school to high school transition is not that easy.
It's
And
not.
sometimes it may not be easy because of things that are going on with their family and
Mm-hmm.
their household, but sometimes it's socially,
Yeah.
you know, a big change. And it's not easy to bring up a low GPA if you start out with a rocky start as a
Yeah.
freshman.
Yeah.
So when you fill out those college applications, all they're going to see is freshman year, sophomore year, and junior year, because the applications start in the fall of senior year. So that's
Wow.
only 6 semesters. And you know, when you do math and you do an average, you know, for your cumulative GPA,
Yeah.
you can't have a 2.5 in there and a 2.7 in there if you are really a 3.5 or a 3.7 student
Yeah.
who just got a shaky start. Your transcript won't reflect who you really are. So you really got to start strong as a freshman.
So when you go into the schools and you start talking to our freshmen, what do you tell them, you know, when it comes to making sure that their GPA is where it needs to be to get in I say a reputable school, a school that maybe they never thought that they could attend?
So basically, other than what I just mentioned, when you do your research for colleges, you can find the information in the research what the average GPA is for students that get in. So there are some colleges where the average GPA is 3.3, and there are some where the average GPA is 4.0. So you can find that in your research, and that's just average. If you want to be one of the students that's above average with a higher probability of getting in and a high probability of getting some merit aid for all your hard work, then you're going above average. You're looking to be in the top 25 or top 10% for that school. And colleges publish that information too. So that's part of the research.
So in their freshman year, should they already be having their eye on what college they want to go to so they know the qualifications to get into that college? Because what I've noticed is children wait till their senior year and it's almost like they're hoping to get into whatever school. So they send out a lot of applications hoping to hear back from one or two.
Well, the process doesn't really begin with picking a college.
Okay.
The process really begins with the student. Ideally, the process begins with the student getting thoroughly assessed.
Okay.
And when I say thoroughly assessed, I mean their personality, their strengths, their weaknesses, their interests. And then once they know that, then they'll have a better idea of what they even want to do in life.
Okay.
Once you know what you want to do, then that's when you pick your major. From there, we start to look at colleges. So we don't start out at first saying, oh, I like this college, that college, that college. It doesn't start with picking the college.
So if
you
I say I
pick
want to
the-
be an engineer, then I need to look at schools that offer engineering programs.
And most colleges do offer engineering.
Okay.
Most colleges do.
Okay.
So, and there are certain types of engineering that may not be at every college, but most colleges offer a mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, you know.
Yep.
So, but that assessment is so important because it's part of our student positioning process.
Okay.
When you get into the student's strengths and weaknesses and character, you also get into, is this student introverted? Does this student like working in groups? Is this student an excellent communicator? All these things will help you pick the right college, what we call best fit. I remember getting to Tuskegee and people coming from big cities, they were miserable down there in that little town. Now, being from Detroit, for whatever reason, I loved it down there. I wouldn't want to live there,
Okay.
but I loved that campus. I loved that environment. But some students hated it. Well, they should have known that before they got there.
Yeah.
They should have known that they needed a different environment. Some students pick colleges that are too rigorous
Yeah.
and they feel stressed out. They feel like they can't handle it. The student positioning process will help you pick a college where you can thrive. You don't pick a college as a trophy to be able to say, oh, I'm going to Duke, I'm going to Stanford, I'm
Yeah.
going to MIT.
Yeah.
You pick a college where you fit in.
That's why you see a lot of students coming back after their first year.
Yes.
They get there and it's just too much for them, or the college, the campus is too big. They can't
Yes.
figure out, how to maneuver, and they decide, I'm just going to come back home and go to a community college.
Right. And you touched on an important point, transfer rates. That's an important point. Over a third of college students transfer at least once. Now, we know a lot of community college students start out with the 2-year plan, get some of the prerequisites out of the way, bring up GPA, and then they transfer. That's part of it. But other than that, why are you transferring? What did you miss? What didn't you uncover that now you've gotten to this school, you've stayed a year or two, and now you're transferring? So this is the kind of thing that's delaying graduation.
And it's costly.
And it's costly because when you delay graduation, that means you're in college longer, paying more money as college costs keep going up. Some scholarships run out. Most scholarships run out after 4 years.
Yeah.
So, and changing the major.
Ooh.
Over a third of students change their major 2
I
or 3
did.
times. Again, that's time.
Yeah.
That's time you lose.
See, I didn't know, but when them statistics classes hit, I was like, I'm out of here. I went back to my counselor, like, now what else can I do with the classes that I've already taken? Which was crazy because it came full circle. So now that I'm in, my doctoral program, I had to still take all those statistic classes.
And congratulations on that. I saw that on your page. I'm
Oh,
so
thank you,
excited.
thank you.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited, but I'll be even more excited when I actually, get my earned doctorate degree. I'm like in 11th hour. So.
But honorary is good too. Honorary
earned that
shows
too.
that you've done something in life.
Yes, I earned that as well.
You earned that. So
Yes, ma'am.
that's awesome.
Thank
Congratulations
you. Thank
on that.
you. So, like, say for instance, if I came or I brought my child to you and say, okay, we need your services. First of all, do the services cost?
They do.
Okay.
So we have a schedule. We have some a la carte pricing, some package pricing, so it varies.
Okay.
It's on my site. But yes, so if you bring your student.
What's the site?
Then what? collegecostcutter.com.
College.
That's the website. College Cost Cutter.
Somebody put it in the chat, okay?
collegecostcutter.com.
Okay, so I bring my student to you. Okay, walk us through that process.
The ideal process for what I really like is when I do webinars for schools and
Okay.
churches and organizations, I love to do webinars first. And those give a really good introduction.
Okay.
And from there, people say, oh, I want a consultation. So that's how it happens a lot of the time. And then, of course, people refer people, and sometimes, so I will do a quick overview session.
Now
And
I
then
watched
we
your
start to talk about.
your on YouTube. I watched the sessions last night. I was like, oh, this is good information. I wish I had somebody who helped me. I wouldn't be in as much debt.
Yep. So whether you've seen a webinar or you've been
Yeah.
referred by someone, and I do a quick overview session, from there, I generally will start to ask for some basic information. If the family wants to move forward, then we start to see what help they need.
Okay.
Some families will say, we don't need help on student positioning. We already know where she's going.
Okay.
If that's what you want, you know, and I hold my hands up like that because we had a family like that once where the young man wanted to go to one specific college and he didn't want to think of anything else. And that college didn't offer any financial aid. All they offered were loans.
Wow.
And they wanted him to have what he wanted. And so he's there on loans fully.
Wow.
So I encourage families to at least look at open their mind to the student positioning process, look at how the student could be matched, and they might find a college that's a better match than what they had in mind.
Okay.
So, but if a family insists, all I want is, you know, the financial part, you know, we want to make sure we get our finances in order so that we can qualify for more financial aid. There's a package for that, financial positioning. If the family says, you know, yeah, we have no idea where they want to go, they're not really sure what they want to do, then of course student positioning is in that package. Some families come late, like some families are coming now. It's the award appeal package. That's all we can do right now is get your award letters in, analyze them, and make recommendations for
So what's
appeals.
the idea months that parents should really target to start reaching out and getting those applications in?
The applications for college, you mean?
No, for like scholarships and stuff like that.
So scholarships usually have deadline
Deadline.
information on them, and they'll usually tell students when to apply. So there are plenty of sites out there that collect, the scholarship information,
Okay.
and so students need to kind of follow that information for when to apply
Okay.
for private scholarships.
Okay. Oh, so for your service, when do you suggest parents to start reaching out to you so that you can base the timeline off of when they come to you and what stage you need to be in?
I would say at the latest, ideally the latest is sophomore year. And I'll tell you why. That's ideally. That doesn't mean I won't help you if you come later.
Okay.
We'll use seniors in high school right now. Seniors in high school right now, at the end of the year, started filling out the FAFSA for this coming fall.
Yeah.
The tax information on that FAFSA came from the calendar year 2024.
Yes.
So you've got a 2-year lag between when the student starts, 2-year calendar year lag. They're starting the 2026-2027 school year.
Right.
From the tax information that was provided. If families want to work with their financial advisor and their tax professional and us to really maximize financial aid eligibility and strategize completing the FAFSA, that's got to be done sophomore year, because that's that calendar year. That's 2 years before they're going to start.
So what do we tell
college.
our young person who can't even imagine going to college because they see how they're living, they see that mom or dad don't really have anything to assist with that, so they just kind of winging it, like, and they don't really have anybody. I'm glad you're doing this, but they don't have anybody to tell them, hey, I need to see you, sophomore year. Then what do we have? Because most of those parents don't have financial advisors.
Right.
Right. Most of them are looking for taxes to be able to get at least caught up with some of the bills that they have, or.
So when we go into schools and churches and nonprofits that work with students, then a lot of the time this is when students hear this kind of thing.
Okay.
And then they can tell their parents, hey, there was somebody at school, this is their information.
Okay.
And yes, you're right, a lot of families don't have financial advisors. I have to say that because I cannot take on the role of the financial advisor. So I
Yeah.
have to advise
Okay.
that families seek out the advice of a
Okay.
professional financial advisor or a tax professional.
Yeah.
But our financial planning portion should go in conjunction with whoever else they're working with in those areas. So
Okay.
I have to say that. But no, a lot of families don't have financial advisors.
Yeah.
And so in which case, I would still make recommendations with the disclaimers and we move forward from there.
Tell me about one of your successes with your students. Like they came to you maybe at the correct time, or tell us one that came to you late
Okay.
and how you were able to assist them.
Okay, so we had a family that came late. It was senior year, and so it was the award appeal time.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you too. I'll tell you about mine.
Okay.
My son, my older son who went to Howard. It's the first example. And this is an academic appeal. So there's more than one kind of appeal.
Okay.
He was accepted into Howard, and Howard has these different scholarships with different names, different criteria. This GPA, that test score, you qualify for this, blah, blah, blah. So he qualified for one scholarship level. He went back and he actually didn't even have enough time to go through this full test prep service. A good friend of mine, Mark Mayberry, over at Exam Experts, does a test prep service. And so I said, he wants to take this test again, it's in a couple weeks. We went to Mark for a couple Saturdays. His whole program is longer than that, but we just did a couple Saturdays with him. His test score jumped up a couple points.
Okay.
He submitted those revised test scores to Howard, and they bumped him up.
Oh, wow.
Another scholarship level. So in some instances, that is an appeal by itself.
Okay. Okay.
Another example from the financial appeal side, we had a family that came late, and colleges, just a little background, colleges report, just like businesses and companies have annual reports, colleges have reporting, and they report to different clearinghouses, what they award, how many students were accepted, how many applied, how many were enrolled, how much financial aid did they award, what was the average award, what was the criteria, things like that. So this family came and they shared their award letters with us. We went through all of the award letters. They had the school that they were interested in.
Okay.
It was like, really, we want this one. We had these other letters. We had strategies for the other letters, but they said, we want this one. And so we looked through it, saw where the award letter looked like there could be some
Wiggle room.
more money on the table. And we helped them write the appeal letter.
Okay.
And it was only maybe 2 or 3 days later, I get a text from the mom. Oh, by the way, they gave us $7,500 more.
Wow.
I was like, really? Why is that? And she says, because of your amazing letter. So that's an example, that's how the process can work.
Now, I know we talk about high school students, but do you also assist collegiate students?
You mean like advanced degree students?
Yeah,
Or
like college.
once they go to college?
Yeah, once they're in college.
No, so our process is designed for high school
schoolers,
students, starting. Now, sometimes a college student will reach out, they're already in college and they're like, oh, we're not getting enough money, and I'll give whatever advice I can based on their individual situation.
Yeah.
But that's not who I typically service.
Okay,
My service is designed for high school students.
Now, do you go and speak with middle schoolers to get them prepared for the mindset of, you're going to need to be seeing me, your freshman year, put that in
Yes.
their mind so they can start even telling their parents, Mom, I remember the lady, from the scholarship said we need to start talking to them when we're in our freshman year.
I have spoken with middle school students, usually students that are involved in an organization that's got middle school and high school students. I have not worked with middle schools, per se.
Okay.
The schools that I've gone into are high schools. But I have talked with middle school students with organizations, and those students were involved in the...
We got some 8th graders coming out real soon.
Yes, I would love to do more
And,
with middle schools.
I'm going to be taking the information back to our counselor, but I'm going to personally, my students that are in 8th grade who are, just 4.0 students, I'm going to pass their information, give them your information to their parents so that
Yes.
they can get a head start. Our students don't get this information.
And if I can talk to them in a group setting rather than one parent here, one parent there, that'll be even better.
Oh, we can set it up.
So
I'll be trying to set it up tomorrow.
okay, okay, that'll work.
So
That'll
that our
work.
babies can get what we need. So when you get scholarships or someone is awarded a scholarship, is it for 4 years or sometimes it's just for a semester year?
That's a good question because scholarships may or may not be renewable.
Okay.
So a lot of the private scholarships that students might get, like, there's a lot of little scholarships out there. Oh, if you're left-handed, write an essay. Oh, a lot of smaller scholarships out there. They're one-time scholarships.
Okay.
Sometimes an alumni organization or a sorority and fraternity, they may offer a scholarship. It may be renewable. The student may be able to get it again a second time. I was blessed to get a scholarship from the Tuskegee alumni as a freshman. And then my sophomore year, they gave me another one. But I didn't get one for 4 years.
Okay.
So scholarships, and when you're looking at the scholarships and you're applying, make sure you understand the terms.
Okay.
So that the family doesn't have an idea in their mind that this money is coming every year, and it may not be. And even scholarships that the colleges themselves award, those may or may not be renewable. And it'll tell you, freshman scholarship,
So that's just for your freshman year.
That's not renewable, right? But some others may be renewable based on you have to maintain this GPA, right? You have to maintain good conduct and good standing on campus and that kind of thing.
Well, I learned the hard way because when I started off my doctoral program, I got scholarship money. And I just assumed that it was every, school year or every semester. And, after so many semesters, I'm like, well, why do I owe so much? And I called and they was like, well, let's look over your stuff. And they said, oh, you had scholarship money. I don't see it on your account anymore. And I'm like, well, can we find out where it went to? And, come to find out, the lady said that after so long, I had to request the money again. And I'm like,
and that might have been in some fine print.
And I said, well, if y'all know I'm still here, y'all know I need it. So she just laughed and she said, well, let us, see what we can do. And they end up putting it back on. But you don't know that stuff. You don't know.
There's a lot to think about. There's so much to think about. And I always say, families don't know what they don't know. A lot of people think they know what to do. They just think, oh, we'll apply for a bunch of scholarships and we're good. But there's so much that people don't know. And what we're talking about right now is something called front loading.
Yeah.
So sometimes the best package a student will ever get will be the first offer.
Oh, wow.
Freshman year. And sometimes they may never get offered any more money. And that's front loading. That gets the students into the college.
Okay.
And what happens when they get into the college? If it goes well, they make a bunch of friends. They love it there. They love their classes. They get involved in some extracurricular activities. They want to stay.
I never thought
And then
about
the
that.
money changes sophomore year.
And it's like now we're trying to figure out how we're going to, help you stay here.
Right.
I have a girlfriend, her grandbaby went off to college. And I kept trying to advise her. I said, maybe we should talk to somebody because who's paying for this? And she's have her mind set on this college. And I'm like, I understand, but you sure? And she kept saying, yeah. She got up there and she wasn't even up there 2 semesters. And now grandma is having to put money on her credit card every semester to help her stay there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how long are you going to be able to do that? And she's like, I don't know, but I keep telling her, and her mama, I can't keep doing this. And the more I get out of debt, the more I'm getting in debt. I'm like, well, you guys need to really figure out about some scholarship money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's another metric that we track is retention. And colleges, retention drops off after freshman year when you in the aggregate, retention drops off. And then when you look at different colleges, you'll see that they have different retention rates.
Okay.
And the funding is the number one reason students don't finish. It's funding.
Yeah. Because if a student have to work, that takes away from their studies, their grades drop, and you know, you may be on probation or asked to find maybe a community college that you can
That's right.
attend for a minute. So do you help the students with their letters? You know, when they have to write
The appeal letters?
no, not the appeal letters, like when they going to college and you know how they have to write
The essays?
essays and stuff like that.
No, we don't do their essays.
Okay.
We
So you
don't
just
do their
stick-
essays. We have some tips. Like we have a lot of documentation with a lot of tips. We've got some general tips for essays, but we don't provide that like as a service. Like some people specialize in that and really tune in on the essays. We don't do that part. Well, but we do offer some tips for
Okay.
the students in our student positioning program.
But you write the appeal letters, or you have the students to write them, and you just kind of go over them and make sure.
We actually basically write it.
Okay.
We have some templates that we use and give them the guidance on what to write and say, this is what you should say. So yeah, with the award letters we do.
On an average, how much money is out there for scholarships?
Billions. I mean, there's a whole lot of money out there for scholarships. A lot of money out there for scholarships.
So we just
let
let
me tell
money
you
stay
where the
on the
money
table.
comes from, though, because people have a misconception in their mind about where to look for money. Everybody's like scholarships, and everybody wants to try to get Gates or Coca-Cola or whoever.
Yep.
The private scholarships is what everybody focuses on. In order, the largest pool of money comes from the federal government. Pell Grants, supplemental education opportunity grants, work study, and federal loans.
How is that now in this administration? Has anything changed?
They still, Pell Grants, that hasn't changed.
Okay.
SEOG, that hasn't changed.
Okay.
There's a lot in flux with the federal student loan process. The loans are still available, but there's a lot in flux about repayment plans and forgiveness and stuff like that. So, largest pool of money is the federal government.
Okay.
Second largest pool of money, the colleges.
Donors and alumni and stuff like that.
The colleges themselves, wherever it comes from, they have it.
Okay.
Their endowments are usually what the scholarship money comes out of.
Okay.
3, like states.
The states.
States.
Okay.
4, private scholarships.
Now, when you say states, what's an example?
So states offer different types of grants. And so, for example, like when a student is in-state versus out-of-state, those differences,
Okay.
That's the state, is funding part of the expense,
Okay.
right? Or states offer specific grants. And there are websites and stuff where you can go. There's a website, what is it called? I can't think of it off the top of my head. You can actually look and see how much states are contributing to undergrads.
Okay.
It's like a list, and you can see which states contribute the most. I think California is at the top of the list. California is huge with a whole lot of colleges, though. So the private scholarships, they're at the bottom. That's not where the majority of the money is. But that's where people want to look. Our focus is the second pool,
Okay.
the colleges. Goes back to the best fit. I'm not saying forget about scholarships, don't look for them. But I'm saying they're the fourth pool of money. That's not where the majority of the money is coming from. The average student who gets a scholarship, it's less than $7,800 on average.
Wow.
That's not
That's
enough.
not a lot
That's
at
not
all.
enough for a community college.
Mm-mm.
So that's not where the money is. The majority of the money is.
Wow. So how can they find you so that they can get this process started as soon as possible? Like, not wait till the last minute, people. I know some of y'all are last minute people, procrastinate, but
Yes.
you snooze, you lose.
Yes.
And then when you go, the money that a lot of the colleges have, when you apply, sometimes they say, well, we ran out.
Yes, that's the case too. So we'll go back to the FAFSA. So when students complete the FAFSA, I don't tell people, day one, you got to complete the FAFSA. But there is some sense of urgency to completing the FAFSA because sometimes when families are late completing the FAFSA, colleges are like, we can't do an award letter yet because we don't have your FAFSA. So you need to get the FAFSA in, pretty early, and some funding does run out, and so you want to be able to get, your applications in time for not only applying for the colleges, but then the FAFSA on time.
So let
to
me
get
ask you a
the
question about the money part. So I'm seeing that a lot of young people are getting scholarship money and or loans. And they kind of maneuver their life around the loan money, where they take out more money than they actually need, which leaves them in a, in a bind. When you get scholarship money, do they pay your schooling first and then do they give you the remaining? How does that go?
They do pay your schooling first, and that's not as easy to do as it used to be.
Okay.
I remember when I was in college, a friend of mine bought a car with her excess. Remember those cars, the Yugos?
There's a little bitty cars.
And I'm aging myself talking about Yugos. The young people watching are like, what is that? But she bought a Yugo.
Wow.
With her excess funding. So, but that's not quite as easy as it used to be. And your federal loans, they're only going to cover what's left. That whole cost of attendance number that the college provides. If you only have $2,500 left to pay for, the federal loan, they're not going to give you $7,500 or $10,000. They're
going to give you the $2,500.
They're going to give you
exactly what you need.
They're going to give you what you need, and that based on that shortfall. So we can't. Now, if you don't have federal loans, if you've just got extra scholarship money out there, you'll probably get some back at registration.
So
if you've got excess, that's not very common.
So you can apply for multiple scholarships?
Yes,
so
as many as you can.
How do they divide, or say for instance you got 3 different scholarships. One of the scholarships pays for your semester year. What do they do with the other money?
So this is a good point that you raised, because when students have demonstrated need, if they get a scholarship that, I'll give you an example. Let's use the Promise program as an example.
Okay.
There are lots of Promise programs all around the country. The ones here in the Detroit area, they're last dollar programs. What last dollar means is, and the Promise program only covers tuition.
Okay. Not
so
books.
room and board is not included.
Okay.
So if you hear free college, that's not accurate.
Okay.
And some people will misrepresent the Promise program by using that language. That's not accurate.
So when
it only covers tuition.
So when we hear our leaders say, if you live in the Detroit area, you get free college. Your college is totally free.
That's not accurate.
That's not accurate.
So using that as an example. So the Promise program, let's say you go to a college and tuition is $10,000.
Okay.
Student gets a $7,500 Pell Grant and nothing else. Promise will pay the remaining $2,500.
Okay.
In a simple example.
Okay.
If that same student had $2,500 left, but they went out and found a scholarship for $2,500, then Promise pays zero.
They don't give anything.
Because there's no tuition left to pay.
Okay.
And that's how some scholarships work too. So so there's a term called scholarship displacement. So you have all these awards in your package, and then you go out initially from the college and the government, you have these awards in your package. You go out, bring in a scholarship. Some colleges, most colleges, will say, oh, this student brought in $2,500. We'll take back this money and apply that $2,500 to it, which means their balance due doesn't change. They still owe the same amount of money that they would have owed before they got the scholarship.
Wait a minute, say that one more time. So
Scholarship displacement. The scholarship money that the student brings in, other need-based funding will be pulled back out, kind of like the promise.
okay, so they have to use up all their resources before we give them anything. If we give them anything.
So who do you mean by
The school. So if you were coming to the school and like you said, you bring in 2,500, your book says 2,500. What we had promised to give you, we're not giving you anything because we're going to make you use the 2,500 you bring it in. So in other words, now that's money that can be allocated to somebody else.
As a scholarship, and it depends on the type of scholarship that's in the package.
Okay. Wow.
So scholarship displacement happens, and it's very
A lot.
disappointing. It's very disappointing for a student to go to school thinking, I got this scholarship for $2,500, now my family doesn't owe any money. And then it turns out their family does owe money because $2,500 is pulled back that was previously offered. That happens a lot, and it's very disappointing.
Wow.
Very disappointing. And so a lot of families end up with loans or more loans than they thought they would have because they didn't anticipate these kinds of things happening.
See, this is good information that our students need to know. And unfortunately, in our school system now, our counselors can't really do a lot when it comes to that because we have so many other issues that we're dealing with students with.
Right.
And children
They
pretty
wear
much
so
go
many
off
hats.
and they don't have any, foundational information that they can use when they get to college. So now them and their families are scrambling to figure out, okay, what we're going to do.
Right.
And
I have so much respect and admiration for teachers and counselors. They wear so many hats.
Ooh-wee.
They have so many jobs other than being an English teacher or a history teacher or a phys ed teacher. They're coaching, they're doing after school programs, they're doing academic games.
Okay.
They're doing all these extra things after school.
I'm a
and
picker-upper.
getting home and checking a bunch of papers and
Listen,
they're doing
okay.
all kinds of extra things, and they're also trying to help the students, searching, scholarship searches and the FAFSA night, and they don't know this stuff either.
We don't. We just
But it's
know
not their
basic
job.
stuff. It's not our
It's
job.
so much on them.
But you
It's
know
not
what?
their
Unfortunately, as a teacher, you are thrown in there where you have to wear many hats.
Yes.
Like I say, I pick up 6 kids in the morning to bring them to school so they can get to school on time. I'm doing lunchroom duty. You know what I'm saying? I'm helping children, kind of try to, curb their behavior issues.
Right.
Football coach, baseball coach.
Right.
It's like,
It's a lot.
then like you say, go home and I have to check papers.
And you have a life, by
I
the
have a
way.
life, and I'm in school, and say for instance, the paper due on Wednesday. I'm still getting students turning papers in 2 and 3 weeks later. So now I gotta push pause to give out as much grace as I can so that our children can progress. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And everything I'm talking about, it happens year after year after year after year.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
the students are coming in as seniors, falling into the same traps,
Yeah.
not knowing the same things that the class before them didn't know. And the counselors and teachers, they're not learning it because they're not involved to that level. So they're not able to tell them because they're not learning it either.
Now, are you connected with any school settings that every year you're going into this school to have a
I wouldn't say
conversation?
every year, no.
Okay.
I wouldn't say every year, no.
Okay.
But there are some schools that I've been involved with, more than others.
Okay.
But I don't have anything that says every year you're coming in. I need to be.
That's something maybe that you
I
can pitch
need to be.
some of the principals, Look some of them principals, like Cass, I know they would love to have something like that. King,
Yes.
Renaissance.
I've been involved with Cass, Mumford,
Mumford,
Detroit Edison
yes.
Public School Academy. That's where my sons went. Detroit Edison Public School Academy. Shout out to the Blands, amazing school. So I did a 6-week program at Western.
Okay.
My first, pilot program. It was a student positioning program. So yes, that would be
Yeah, because
that would
listen,
be
parents.
ideal. And FAFSA night. So let me just say this about FAFSA night. You know, we talked the FAFSA night. You know, the seniors, again, they need to start planning
Yeah.
to complete the FAFSA way before the typical FAFSA night. FAFSA night should be sophomore year. Not senior year, not even junior year.
I did mine in senior year because nobody told me.
They don't know that.
No, and then the counselor didn't even tell me.
And again, it's not a criticism of them that
Yeah.
they didn't know. It's not what they do. They're educators. They already have more on their plate than what they should have. So, yeah.
So
So-
FAFSA night, what is that? Do they come and they actually sit down and fill out the FAFSA with you step by step, or is just an overview of what needs to take place?
In a lot of cases, FAFSA night is an overview, and it talks about the deadlines and the documentation that you need to have, and making sure that you fill out the FAFSA on time.
Okay.
And stuff like that. But it's not a strategy
Okay.
type
So what
session.
about some parents who maybe are not as educated either, and they get a flux of paperwork and they just don't know what to do with that paperwork, and they pretty much tell their students, you know, the children, go fill it out
That happens a
and
lot.
hand it in.
That happens a lot. I filled out my own FAFSA.
I didn't know what I was doing,
I filled
but I
out my
did.
own FAFSA. But you know, the parents and the students are supposed to fill out the FAFSA. So of course, you know, you have to. Your parent at least has to review it and sign it. But there's the electronic FAFSA where a parent logs in and the student logs in. Back when I did it, I filled it out on paper and it, you know, had my, look, told my mom, you know, I did. But now, you know, parent has a login, student has a login, and they have
Okay.
to complete it that way.
Okay.
So there are organizations and groups that help families, you know, to do that as well.
I would love to see that happen in our schools where we bring someone in to really, you know, tackle this, because I hear students all the time where I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to fill it out? What am I supposed to say in the letter?
And that
it's
can
just
take
like-
out. I mean, when you think about it, let's say you have a room with 30 parents, and they bring their tax stuff. Or actually, you don't even have to physically bring your tax stuff anymore, because now there's this IRS retrieval
Yep,
tool that
yep, you
pulls
can push
in
that
your
Yep.
your tax information, but you still need account information and other things. And you've got all these parents with unique situations that are going to be asking you questions. And the FAFSA, it's been simplified, but people still find it complicated.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of, if you don't have to answer this question, go to this question and refer to page 4, refer to page 21. There's still a lot of fine print.
And some
in the
people just don't
FAFSA.
want to put the wrong thing to disqualify themselves.
And quite honestly, some people think that it's a smart thing to do to lie on the FAFSA.
Ooh, please don't.
that's not a good
That's
idea
feds,
at
baby.
all.
That's the IRS.
I have rejected clients because they told me, well, I just didn't put my husband on there. Well,
But if you file
he's supposed
jointly,
to go on
then
there. And I can't work with you if you don't correctly fill out the FAFSA.
do they fill it out?
There's,
They-
I mean,
or
there's,
they
there's like
dismiss
penalties,
themselves?
like financial and criminal and like potential imprisonment. It's serious. That's a federal. That's an affidavit. That's a,
Yeah.
you know, you attest that you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
So some people think, oh, I just won't say this, I just won't say that. And people might say, oh, they're not going to find out, and maybe they won't. But there are random audits
Yeah.
of the FAFSA. So you might get selected, and if you do,
Ooh.
and you can't document what you said, then that's not going to work out well.
Well, parents,
So
you want to reach out to Miss Latanja Muhammad, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And listen, I'm educated. And sometimes when I'm sitting there filling that stuff out, I'd be like, now wait, what they want me to do? Now put this in there? I'd be like, Lord have mercy. I wish I just had the money to just take the money and send it and say, done. You know, and I understand that, you know, different circumstances for different households. But what you want to do is put your scholar in a position where, again, I'm going to keep saying it, where they are not bound to loans or debt
Yes.
when they get out of school. Unfortunately, some of these careers is not paying what the student is worth. And if I can say this, you need to sit down with somebody to talk to your scholar about the different fields that they are going into. You know, it's shifts, you know, and right now, we need to find out where the money is.
Yes. You know, I heard someone say in an interview the other day that students are going to college right now for jobs that won't exist by the time they graduate.
That's right.
And that's the whole AI, you know, scenario.
So right now,
So-
AI is at the top of the chain.
There's going to be a lot of
It's-
jobs in AI.
Yep. They're
But,
going to.
and I have to say this, you know, I talk about college and, you know, college funding and how to find the money. And sometimes people are like, oh, college is a ripoff. Oh, it's not worth it. And I would just say that the 4-year college, I agree that it's not necessarily for everybody. And I have the perfect example in my own family. My sister, who's just above me, from the time that we were little girls, she loved beauty and hair.
Okay.
She would do my hair. I remember on my 6th grade class picture, I had my hair French braided. She did my hair, and it was pretty. That's what she loved. As soon as she graduated from high school, she went to beauty college. And she had a great career as a hairstylist. She's owned shops in Texas and Atlanta, you know, out in California, here. She's had a great career. I went to college for engineering. That's what I wanted to do. I needed to go to college.
But I think parents need to hear that every scholar is not meant to go to a 4-year university. I mean,
I know electricians who do so well. I know paralegals who do
Yes,
very well. I know
yes.
people. It's about what the child, you know, has
a passion
determined
for.
that they're here to do, that what their passion. My son, ever since he was 3, my younger son, who's in med school, ever since he was 3, this has not changed. He's wanted to
Okay.
be a doctor.
okay.
Has not changed.
So
He's
if
got
they-
to go to college to be an MD. Now, I know that there are holistic practitioners
Yeah.
out there, and I encourage him to study some of that too. But college is the way he had to
So
reach
if a
that.
student wants to do a trade, can they still contact you? Is there money out there for a student who may not want to go to a 4-year university, but they want a trade? You know, HAVAC, cosmetology.
You know, the FAFSA still has to be filled out for those
Regardless,
2-year,
okay.
you know, kind of colleges too,
Okay.
right? And you know, a lot of times when there's a trade, there's not a whole lot of, you know, looking nationwide for colleges. It's like, you know, that there's this trade school on the other side
But is
of
it money
town.
out there for them?
There's Pell Grants,
Okay,
and there are scholarships.
okay.
So there is money out there for them, but I primarily work with the 4-year students because it's just such a bigger task
Okay.
for them. But I don't do this because I don't believe in the trade schools or the community colleges. I do believe in those, and I do believe some students do very well going that route.
Yeah.
There are so many great things, and they can start their own businesses and become entrepreneurs, carpenters and stuff like that. You know, I know a guy who restores cars. He makes a lot more money than me. I know a guy who restores old homes and stuff like that. They make a lot more money and they love what they do. They're passionate about it. I know people who've gone for culinary arts. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there are so many things. But for the student who needs the 4-year college experience, that's where
what
I
you're here
focus. And so for the families that, you know, again, we're talking about the families that don't have the funds maybe to even pay for a kind of service. I wrote a book in 2023
Okay.
called The College Funding Playbook: 7 Proven Methods for Funding Your Child's Education Without Breaking the Bank.
And where can they find
So
that?
there's a lot of tips in here that families can use. It's on Amazon, but I'm doing a revised and updated version that's coming out late next month.
Oh, okay.
So on my website,
So we may want to wait for that one, unless you just want to.
the pre-sale has started, so people can pre-order if they want.
Okay.
If you know they want to be one of the first to get it because they're right in the thick of things or whatever. But
So where do they get the pre-sale?
so order the playbook is the
Order the
site
playbook.
to order the book. Order the playbook.
Order the
So I've
playbook.
got two sites, College Cost Cutter and ordertheplaybook.com. So those are the sites.
www.college
Cost Cutter.
cost CUTTER. Uh-oh, not an ICUTTER. .com.
Yes.
Okay.
And then ordertheplaybook.com.
Order the playbook.com.
So this current version is available on Amazon and through my website. And the updated version will be as well. The pre-orders will be available through my site. And then when it goes live on Amazon, it'll be
Now, what if a person needs your services? How can they contact you?
through collegecostcutter.com. There is
Okay.
a contact form where they can fill it out.
Okay.
And in the link, there's also a link to make an appointment on my page. They can go there.
Well, parents,
Yes.
you've heard it. You've heard it here. If you have more questions, if you have questions that's, just catered to your situation, please reach out. I put the links in the comment section, www.collegecostcutter.com. I got to take that one out. I did it wrong. And ordertheplaybook.com.
Thank you. Thank you for posting those.
Hold on, I got to do one of them again because my finger hit the wrong one. Okay, www.college
Cost Cutter.
cost cutter. I need these things bigger. As I get older, these letters get smaller and smaller. collegecostcutter.com. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Yep, this is how you guys will contact Miss Muhammad. She is here to assist you. You want to make sure that your scholar sees her, you and your scholar see her freshman year. Please don't come calling. Now you can, but please don't come rushing to this lady in your senior year and you want her to, do some tricks for you.
They'll come. They'll come.
They'll come.
They can come. They can come.
Just come on.
They can come.
We want you to come, but we want you to do it as early as possible.
Like they say in church, will you come?
Just come on. Come on. Sometimes the pastor be like, nah, I didn't call. Come on. Now you coming up here late. But come on anyway. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to lay hands on you.
I'll help wherever I can. Whatever stage you're at, there are still ways to help.
We appreciate you so much because our scholars need it. And the parents need to know what direction to go in. We have college students that are still in school that's thinking about, after graduation, going to another college. So you want to be, you want to be in a place where you're financially, set for school and you can just concentrate on your studies and not having to have 2 or 3 part-time jobs to make ends meet. And then you don't want to rob your parents of having to take money out of their pockets, from their bills to make sure that you're okay. So please share this podcast because we want our students to really, get in tune and start, getting to a place where they are responsible, young adults. Last week we talked about life insurance. This week we're talking about scholarships. These are 2 podcasts that is a must-see. You must connect with our guests so that you can put yourself in position.
I saw that. I saw the life insurance.
Life insurance.
Life insurance is one of our strategies.
See?
Life insurance is an excellent financial planning tool for college planning.
And a lot of people don't realize that.
They do not.
But we're gonna, we're gonna educate the community because I don't know everything. So a lot of times I'm sitting here learning the information that you're learning. So please, ma'am, please, sir, reach out to Miss Latanja Muhammad. She will get you and your family straight. And I will see you next week. We are still in Women's History Month. So if you've seen women all this month, that's why. Okay? Next week we have a table full of awesome women that are coming to the table. And we're going to end Women's History Month just for March, but that doesn't mean it's going to end our collaborations, and we're not going to end doing what we have to do for the community, for ourselves. We are becoming 1% better every day. I'm telling you. And you know what? While we're becoming 1% better, we are also going to grab our sisters, our queens, and we're going to pull them along too. We're going to put our big girl panties on, okay? And we're going to do what we got to do to make sure that we are successful and we are fulfilling our purpose according to what God has over us. I love you, and you already know, like my girls say on the radio all the time, ain't nothing you can do about it, okay? So I will see you back at the table next week. Of course, the love is real. If you have anything going on in the community and you need the assistance of Detroit Table Talk, just inbox me, and I will get back with you. If I don't get back with you in a reasonable time, give me maybe 3 to 4 days, then make sure you circle back around, because sometimes I'm doing 50 million things. I keep telling y'all, I'm in school full time. I'm an educator. I'm a football coach. I'm a baseball coach. I am a foster care advocate. So I have foster children that I have to attend to. They're not mine, but I'm assigned to their case. I am doing so much. I am, I have to do sorority stuff. After I do all y'all business, at some point I have to sit down and do the business that God has called me to do for myself. So I want to be here for you. I want to support you, but I don't want you to get mad if I don't contact you within 2 days or the same day. Spin it back, because sometimes I see it and I say I'm going to contact them or I'm going to contact you, and then I forget, because the request comes in so much. As my pastor said this morning, or to say, charge it to my head and not my heart. Charge it to my head and not my heart. If you see I didn't comment or I didn't, call me. I got you. Okay? Next month, listen, April. Every year, April, all things Christ. So that is not the time for you to call me about your book. That is not the time for you to call me about, what Beyonce is doing. April is all things Christ. Now, if you are a prophet or prophetess, if you do the praise team, if you are a pastor, if you are a deacon, this is the month you call me, okay? Because this is all things Christ. I absolutely love you. And again, I will see you back at the table next week.